Yeah, so we have two semi-final matches for our number one contendership tournament to face Nakamura for the IC title. We have Brock in action against JSO, and we have Santos Escobar's in-ring debut against Madcap Moss. So a lot of awesome stuff on this edition of Smackdown. So let's dive straight into it. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Vine and welcome to episode 21 of my modern day WWE save on TEW 2020. Yes, and this is another edition of Smackdown. Sorry about being a week late, obviously last week was pretty hectic, so finding time to record it was a problem. But we're back here this week, and so we've got a big Smackdown planned. Obviously we've got two semi-final matches for the number one contendership tournament to face Nakamura at WrestleMania. We have Brock in action against Jey Uso, and basically it's a huge show. But if you want to make sure you don't miss any more editions of my TEW save, please like and subscribe, would be pretty appreciated, and please leave a comment because I would love to hear what you think of this save so far. We're getting quite close to WrestleMania now, so it should be good. So yeah, a big show planned. I don't think more I can say is let's dive straight into it. So let's go and start the show with a pre-show match where we've got Dragunov doing in a pre-show match against Jinder Mahal. So yeah, let's talk about that one. Yeah, so we kick off this edition of SmackDown with a pre-show match. This was a weird one. Probably I decided to because Dragunov, I kind of done a thing where I've kind of his development contract was over, so I kind of decided to sign him. And I wanted to see how he did, and obviously I don't do pre-show matches a lot, so I put him against Jinder Mahal, and 27. Obviously he only got a 16, a 32, a 33 by Jinder Mahal. It's fine. I only gave it like 5 minutes. They said it was terrible, but I think at this point, 16, it's going to take a while until Dragunov is ready. But I might make him like the pre-show king or something like that. Something that, to keep him going, or I might put him back in developmental, sign it and put it back to developmental. But I thought I'll start off here just to see how he did. 16, he's got a lot of work. But, I've just thought I'd try it out to see what happens. But anyway, he won with a Torpedo Moscow, as you expect. Beat there, got his win against Jinder Mahal. So let's go and talk about the first match on the main show, obviously. And this is one of two semi-final matches that we have for the number one contendership for the IC title, with the winner facing Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. So obviously the first one is going to be Cesaro going against Drew Gulak. So who's going to win? Is Cesaro going to keep his momentum going, or is Drew Gulak going to shock the world again like he did last week by beating a former world champion with Sheamus? So let's find out. So let's start the show. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Cesaro, or is it going to be Drew Gulak? Let's find out. So the winner of the opening contest is, for 45, of course it's Cesaro with a neutralizer. Very good there. So obviously a 48 there, 43 by Drew, a 45. A bit lower than obviously the high score, but I think it's a very good, decent, solid match to start the show. It's a good semi-final match. You obviously got two very technically gifted wrestlers. So that means Cesaro is through to the final next week to face whoever the winner of Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. So, it's 45, very good. The way this kind of match ended with, I like the idea of, Gulak trying to give a roll-up. I like the idea that Gulak's close to winning the match, but he doesn't quite get there. And, and I just like the idea that basically, by the end, Cesaro just gets the win by hitting the neutralizer, gets the win, and just wins quite well in a quick 10-minute match. I want to put more, but this is quite good for what it is. Obviously, this wasn't the original plans, plus put Sheamus, but plans change against this kind of opponent. But Drew Gulak looks good. But so obviously Cesaro's going through. But obviously, we just talked about Sheamus. Sheamus is absolutely livid by what happened last week, and he hasn't soon forgot it, because after the match, for 40, he attacks Drew Gulak from behind, and takes him out, and just to let you know, and he takes out his ankle, because obviously that's the best way to take out someone of technical wrestler like him, take out his ankle. But the whole point of this is just basically that Sheamus isn't happy with Drew Gulak beating him last week, and he's going to make him pay. So this will be an interesting feud. I'm going to little mini feud. Obviously, I'm trying to build up the men's Orange and Dry Battle Royal as this bigger deal than it has been in real life. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make these, as you would do like in a Royal Rumble, like small little feuds that are going to culminate in that match. So it makes it more interesting. But yeah, so this is going to be one of them. So obviously Sheamus attacked Drew Gulak. Is Sheamus going to pay for those actions? Because Ricochet will probably have something to say about it. So obviously we'll find out if anything repercussions for that later in the show. But there's obviously another person that's kind of fuming from what's happened the last couple of weeks. Obviously we're going to hear from Roman Reigns because obviously Brock's on the warpath. Obviously after what happened last week. So yes, obviously we go to Roman and the Bloodline for only a 38. Wow, that's not what I expected. But yeah, it's fine. This one I kind of just wanted the situation of Roman Reigns is basically knowing that Brock's on the warpath, so he's trying to use his cousins to try and like cannon fodder, because he does respect his cousin, but we all know he can use them as like grunts when he wants to. You know, because he's a tribal chief. But I like the idea of him sending out Jay. And Jay's not happy with this because he knows if he go against Brock, he's in trouble. But because his cousin asked him, he knows he had to do it. I like the idea of Roman maybe bigging him up, saying, do you know who you are? You're Jay Uso, former Smackdown Tag Team Champion. You've won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You are the best up-and-coming star in this company. And Brock has no chance if he faced that Jay Uso. And obviously JF's just kind of like, yeah, I'm up for that, yeah. But then I can see it in his face that he's kind of he knows that maybe Roman's trying to bullshit him here, but it's just the way it is. But yeah, so that's going to set up a match later on where Brock's going to go against Drew. Brock's going to go against Jey Uso in a one-on-one match. So let's see where that goes. But ouch, 38. I don't know if that's because the script thing, again, might have been a mess up in my booking, but hopefully that doesn't affect the show too much. But yes, but after that we cut to the ring. We obviously hear from Miguel El Fantasma, obviously made their debut last edition of Smackdown, obviously taking out Happy Corbin, as we found out that they're the ones that Happy Corbin has been owing money to all this time for the last couple of months. And yeah, we hear for why they're here and what their intentions are on Smackdown for 27. That's expected. They just called up from NXT, so it's going to be a low score here. But yeah, I like it. I like the idea that basically they're saying, yes, obviously when Happy Corbin owes him money, because he was supposed to, he just owes him money. He put a bet, and he said he would pay back that debt, and he never did. So they came to SmackDown to pay that debt, but also to prove to anyone that messes with Miguel El Fantasma are going to pay dearly. And obviously now they're here on SmackDown. Their goal is to take over the whole place. And tonight it's going to start with whoever wants to face us. I give you an open challenge. Who's going to face us? And obviously Madcap Moss, obviously friend of Happy Corbin, comes out disgusted what he'd done to his friend and wants to basically defend his friend's honour, and sets up a match between Madcap Moss and Santos Escobar. And that match is going to be next. And this is going to be Santos Escobar. Can't say his name properly. His debut on SmackDown. Is he going to get a win, or is Madcap Moss going to get a bit of revenge for his fallen friend? And the answer to that question is, for 22, that's fine. I've got to be honest. 28 there for Madcap Moss. 35 for 22. Disappointing, but I think, as they said, they do punish you if there's no real heat for it. But I'm kind of disappointed with that, but it's fine. It's kind of right back. I don't think the show's going to get as good, but we can all hope. But yes, this is a simple one. I just like the idea of Santos Escobar showing who he is. You know, it's supposed to be a match with debut. It's supposed to enhance why this guy's so good. But yeah, this one is basically, I like the idea. It looks so amazing. Is he beats him with ease with the power driver, or his finisher that he hits, or British German suplex works, but I just like a more devastating move. But yes, that's it. So Santos Escobar gets his victory, and yeah, and obviously Madcap Moss is still didn't defend his friend's honour, and unfortunately for him, he's obviously surrounded by Miguel El Fantasma, and yeah, and he's going to get a good old-fashioned beatdown by the group to send a message to Happy Corbin saying he's next, and they want their money back for a 25. Yes, that's fine. This whole segment is exactly where I thought it would be. I would love it to be higher, but NXT stars starting out. Mac Moss is on a certain level, so you're not going to get crazy scores. But I'm happy with this. It's a simple lower card feud. Excuse to give Ligero Del Fantasma onto SmackDown. Mac Moss gets do something. I might even dare turn Happy Corbin his face. Who would have thought that would be possible? I'm going to try my best to see if it works. That's hope. But obviously, this segment is just to put a point that basically send a message saying, if he doesn't face, basically, Ligero El Fantasma said, if they don't give their money and Happy Corbin does not face them next week, they will take out the people he loves. So it's kind of a set up. The next match next week, we're going to have Santos Escobar versus Happy Corbin, and but it's obviously they do brutal things to his friend. And yeah, sets up that match next week. But yeah, for a debut, very good start. Forget about the score. The whole point of this is supposed to put that these guys are here and they're here to stay and they're here to take over. And unfortunately for Happy Corbin, he's the first person that's on their hit list. So anyway, but yeah, that's cool stuff there. So after that, we were talking about kind of consequences to what Cesaro did to Drew Gulak earlier in the show, and now we're going to find out what them consequences were, obviously, because next segment is obviously got Drew Gulak in the back in the locker room, obviously turning about that injury to his knee, and obviously Ricochet is obviously backstage with his partner, but obviously Sheamus comes in and kind of says, sarcastically, oh, how is the guy? I didn't hit him that hard. Very sarcastic, and Ricochet takes exception to this, and we get that for a 41. And I like the idea that basically comes in. Obviously, people have to put back Ricochet saying, what you did is diabolical to Drew Gulak. You know what? It's about time someone taught you a lesson. So we know what? You get your ass in that ring, and it's going to be you versus me. And I like the idea that Sheamus is like this is what he wanted. He wanted to kind of coast out this kind of, this kind of thing. Because when he fights with anger, it suits Sheamus. So he's like, okay, see you in the ring. And then he slaps him in the face. He kind of gets held back, and then obviously that sets up the match. That is next, obviously, the big match between Sheamus versus Ricochet. This should be a great match. It should be. I'm hoping it does well. And good stuff here. So 41. So let's get in that match. Sheamus, Ricochet. Who's going to win? Let's find out who's going to win. And the winner of this match is, for a 44, is Sheamus with a bro kick, but a very interesting bro kick. I'll talk about it in a minute. But a 44 there, 36 by Sheamus, a 46 by Ricochet. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, between that, it's good stuff. Obviously, Ricochet is outperforming Sheamus. That tells you a lot, but no surprise, because I think Ricochet is a better wrestler than Sheamus. Just my opinion, just saying. But so cool stuff here. Obviously I put a great match, but I like that looks more focused, and Ricochet's using his anger. And we all know he shouldn't fight with anger, but the way I like it is the idea that he tries to go for like a shooting star press or some sort of high flying move, but Sheamus hits a bro kick in midair, boom, 1, 2, 3, and he gets the win. And so Sheamus, he lost last week, but it's all his plan to get revenge has worked to perfection tonight. Interesting to see what this newly formed team of Ricochet and Drew Gulak will take this lost line down. See what happens. We'll find out next week. But yeah, simple storyline does the job. But I guess obviously another simple storyline I think I've set up quite nicely is obviously the stuff with Toni Storm, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, and many other kind of stuff. Is obviously you got Natalya, or not Talia. You've got Toni Storm backstage. You've got Toni Storm backstage confronting Naomi, obviously after Naomi lost to Toni Storm, trying to confront her, and sets up a nice like a fight backstage, and sets up something really nice. But that's just quick, see how it gets. For a 35, that's expected for these three here. But I like the idea that basically like Toni Storm and Shayna Baszler basically kind of like go up to Naomi saying, yeah, you lost. I've heard rumours you're gonna be in this women's battle royal. Just get out now. Get out of this feud. Just don't enter it, because if you do, both of us are gonna take you out, and you won't be back ever again. Type situation. And Naomi's like, you know what? No, I've been here too long, and I've seen too many people like you coming here, running their mouths, thinking they're the best. But if anyone, I am one of the best women on this roster. And you want to prove it? Okay. What about next week? You two face me and a partner of my choosing. And then they're like, because obviously they know that Sasha Banks has got her thing on. So who's she gonna pick? She's got no one, right? So they go, okay, we accept. And obviously that sets up a tag team match that's next week as well. But yeah, this is kind of a simple one. I need to figure out a way, because obviously, again, same stuff with the men. So the women, I want to build up a nice little feud between everyone Raw and SmackDown. So this is where we're going on SmackDown. Toni Storm, I think I've built quite nicely. Naomi, I need to do something with. Shayna Baszler, I need to build her up, because when you got someone like Shayna Baszler on your roster, you've got somebody you can build a division around. So you've got to do something good. So that's my hope to do very soon. But yes, that sets up a tag team match next week. But then obviously after that, talking about tag team wrestling. Obviously, then we cut to the in-ring, where the New Day, obviously, they announce what their plans are for the tag team division going into WrestleMania, and they announce they'll be in the ring, making their announcement. But as you expect with most of these segments, they get interrupted by not one, not two, but three notable teams. So, let's go next to that one. For 41, actually better than I expected. But yeah, this one, as you can see, the Raw Raiders, or the Viking Raiders, are back on SmackDown. This is a weird one, because obviously I didn't plan them to be back so early, but obviously certain storylines have changed that kind of feeling towards it. But yeah, this one is simple, with the New Day saying they're impressed with what they've seen with the tag division, and they're basically like, they want to give opportunities. Unlike the Usos, the New Day want to be a team of opportunity, and this SmackDown is the place of opportunity. They're going to put out an open challenge to anyone, whoever answers it, that anyone that wants to face us, come out and face us now. Not in a match, but just face us. And obviously the first team that comes out is the Usos, and obviously everyone's like, oh god, and then it's like, no one likes that, and obviously the Usos saying, well, you beat us in a cage match, but then they still our titles, and we would do anything to get them back. And obviously New Day, like, a confidence they probably would accept. But then obviously just when they're supposed to accept, that's when we think that's the match at WrestleMania. Then obviously the Raw Raiders come out, kind of saying no. We come back saying we've been sitting at the back watching this tag team division, and we're sitting there saying no. We need new blood. You've had the titles how many times? You've had the titles how many times? We need new blood, and we need the Viking Raiders, and we're going to win those titles. So we'll face you at WrestleMania, not these chumps. And then obviously they confront, and then obviously Angel and Mustafa Ali come out. They sit there and say, no, well, you guys have already won titles. We haven't even won one. So should we be the ones that should be facing the New Day at WrestleMania? Then obviously this sets up the all like argument. The New Day sit there going, you know what? We respect competition. We like competitions. You know what? What about we face all of you at WrestleMania? And obviously, like the commentary team will go, are you mad? That kind of stuff. And they go, and obviously they're going mad. But I like the idea that New Day say, okay, you three can face us. We want to make the tag team division the best it can be. So all three of you face us at WrestleMania. But always remember that, let's be fair, the New Day always come out on top, and we're going to come out with holding these titles up high, because that's what the New Day do. And yes, sets up, you'll be thinking, why are the faces doing this? But I like the idea that the faces are like, you know what, no. Normally they would just be like, okay, face one another. But no, we can beat these guys, and that kind of stuff, and be more of a confident faced team instead of just kind of a gullible one. They're not gullible, they're confident. I like that. So the New Day accept it, and we've got a fatal four-way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. So another match set should be good. So but another match that has been set last week, but needs a little bit of a set last week, but obviously there's a bit of a spin to it. Obviously we're going to hear from one of the challenges for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and that is Sasha Banks, but she gets confronted by a Shotzi that thinks she doesn't deserve the shot that she asked last week, but doesn't think she deserves it. But let's find out what she says for that. For 46, actually that's way better than I expected. Especially probably more Banks than Shotzi, but I do like Shotzi as a performer. But yeah, so obviously it's backstage. Shotzi basically goes to Sasha Banks going, you do not deserve it. You just went out there and asked for it, and you kind of got it. Unacceptable. And I like the idea that she say, you know what, put that title shot on the line, put that on the line, or I just face me one-on-one, and I prove why you're not worthy. You are not worthy of facing the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte, at WrestleMania. And yeah, sets up a kind of match that, again, as I always do, is next. So obviously the next match is going to be Sasha Banks versus Shotzi. And a nice little caveat, Charlotte Flair is watching at the commentary table. This will come out later. But yes, who's going to win? Is Sasha Banks going to keep her momentum going to face the champ? Or is Shotzi going to get a surprise win and maybe she might insert herself in the match? We'll find out. So that match is next, and the winner of it is, for 42, is of course Sasha Banks, hitting a submission with a bankrupt. I've never heard her call a finisher called bankrupt. Someone's got to put maybe in the comments what is that move. But yeah, 47 there by Sasha Banks, 27 for Shotzi. She was off her game in this match, but 42 out of this is very good. It's a decent match for a nice 5-minute match for Shotzi to look good, and obviously Sasha Banks to get the win. But yes, obviously I like the idea of the match. Shotzi gives Banks a run for her money, but she locks in the bank statement for the win there. But obviously, as we said, Charlotte Flair is watching. But obviously when she sees an opportunity, she strikes, and obviously after the match, she attacks Sasha Banks from behind, and kind of put insult to injury, locks in the bank statement to utterly humiliate her. She's locking in her own move on her. So obviously that thing gets a 43. But yeah, it's just a situation of basically, I kind of thought it was a cool idea that this is a submission match. So leading up into it, that we have a situation where they're both, like, Charlotte Flair wants to really humiliate Sasha Banks because she doesn't think Sasha Banks is at a level. So the idea that she's hitting her own move, obviously she's out at this point, so she's not tapping or anything. But I like the idea of this, the symbolism of it. So obviously I got a feeling Sasha Banks would not like that, and obviously maybe she might retaliate next week. But we'll find out on our next edition of SmackDown. But obviously after that we cut to Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar backstage. Obviously, just before their match with Brock Lesnar's going against Jey Uso. And you got Paul Heyman trying to calm down Brock, because obviously he still has feelings or kind of a little bit loyalty to the bloodline. And he's trying to basically calm Brock down and trying to save Jey, because Brock's in this mood, he's in trouble. So, but yes, let's go and click on that. So let's see what that gets. That gets a 52, no surprise. You got Brock, you got Paul Heyman. I love the way that basically Paul Heyman struggles to go off the script. This game is weird, because in real life he would be great at going off the script. So this guy, I think that game's got it 100% wrong there. But yeah, this is kind of situation. Paul going to Brock saying, yes, you're getting Roman. You got a Roman. It's Roman you want to face. Jey, why you go, like, don't show mercy, just beat him. Send a simple message to Brock. You don't have to destroy Jey. You don't have to end his career. Just beat him 1, 2, 3. That'll be enough of a message to send to Roman. And obviously Brock doesn't respond. He looks at him and then just walks out of the locker room. And I think Paul Heyman saw his eyes, knows Jey's in trouble here. He's in big trouble. So that match is next. Brock Lesnar is in action against Jey Uso. Is he going to get the win? Is Brock just going to make it a sim match? Is he going to destroy him? Or is Jey going to maybe get a surprise win and maybe trying to get out of the skin of his teeth? But let's find out. So the winner of this match is, for 46, yeah, it's Brock. You don't put Brock on TV and make him lose. Well, not as much anyway. But yeah, so only a 58 by Brock. A 39 by Jey. No surprise, Brock and Jey didn't click. It was an awkward bout. That would be weird though, because a high flyer versus Brock always works well. So I think I have the confusion of Brock and Paul Heyman on a different side of the face and heel divide. Yeah, I got to change that. I just assume they're on the same side, but I don't know. I need to fix that. But it's fine. 46. This wasn't supposed to be a masterpiece. The match is supposed to be Brock, yes, destroying Jey Uso, to send a message. This one was just basically dominating Jey Uso. I like the idea that he tries to come back, as most of the matches against Brock, it looks like he's got a shot. Maybe a super kick, 1 or 2 super kicks, and maybe he tries to go for a splash. Brock's get out of the way. And then we get 1, 2, 3 F5s in a row for the win here. So, yeah, simple one here. But unfortunately, Paul Heyman's worst fears have been realised because he's not finished. He beat him in the ring, but Brock's absolutely fuming for what happened last week. So he wants to send a message that Roman Reigns will never, never forget. So obviously there's more. So after the match, he continuously beats down Jey Uso. Oh. Cool, that's okay. But yeah, obviously beats down Jey Uso for a 40. Yes, and I like the idea that basically Paul Heyman's begging him to stop. Like, Brock, you've sent your message, stop it. But I like the idea that basically he F5s him through the announce table. But then he brings in the ring and F5s even more. Jey Uso is absolutely destroyed at this point. Obviously, that's going to be repercussions to Brock maybe next week. But yeah, Paul Heyman just like he's trying his best to stop this crazed Brock. This is an unhinged Brock Lesnar. We've seen a unhinged before, but this is a new level. Even Paul Heyman can't control him. And obviously, Paul Heyman's he tried his best. He stayed in the way. He's sitting there trying to plead, beg him, but didn't work. And obviously, Jey Uso is destroyed. Looked at medical staff. Brock walks out, and Paul Heyman's just. He wants to go and check on his person he cares about, Jey Uso, but he's a client of Brock, so he goes with Brock. So it's an interesting one, but yeah, Jey Uso has been destroyed. I think Roman's got the message. I think Roman's not going to take too kindly to that next week, so we'll find out next week. But yeah, well, obviously after that we're nearing the main event now. Obviously the main event is the second semi-final match between Drew and Sami Zayn. But first we hear from Sami Zayn talking about how he thinks Drew is part of this the conspiracy against him, and he's going to beat him. He's going to get to the final, and he's going to get his voice heard. And Drew, he thinks part of it, and he's going to take him out somehow tonight for a 55. Very good there, but yeah. So the simple one here. I just want Sami Zayn to be. He thinks everyone he faces is part of the grand conspiracy. 'Cause that's how kind of conspiracy theorists work. They don't believe anyone can sit there and show up evidence that it's no conspiracy, but they still believe it because in their head everything's a conspiracy, and that's what I want this version of Sami Zayn to be. So yes, obviously after that we hear from Drew, obviously responding to that, sitting there saying he wants to win this title so bad. He wants to have his WrestleMania moment. He wants to finally win a title in front of fans, and he's Sami Zayn talking about he's part of the conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. The only thing that's happening tonight is him being a claymore to the face, him beating him 1, 2, 3, and him being at the tournament, and Drew facing the final against Cesaro. It's gonna happen, and Sami Zayn don't care if he blames it on the conspiracy or not. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So he better put his own game, but it's not gonna be enough. So, but yes, obviously after that. So that's all you get out for 67. Very good there. So yeah, kind of went around there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so 67 there. So basically, Drew's basically big enough saying, "Don't care about conspiracy. I'm gonna. I want my WrestleMania moment, and you're in my way. So I'm gonna claim all you out of the way." So obviously that match is next, the semi-final, the main event. Who's gonna get the win? Is Drew gonna get into the final next week and face Cesaro, or is Sami Zayn going to do a shock and finally live up to his potential? But let's find out. So in our next match in the main event, is it going to be Drew McIntyre or Sami Zayn? And the winner of this match is, for 54, yes, of course, it's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre there with the high performer, 55, Sami Zayn, 48. But yes, a simple one here. I like the idea of basically it's been a great match between these two. The finish is kind of like you got Sami Zayn trying to go for the haluba kick, but misses, and this one he's trying to think, he turns around, boom, Claymore out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, and he gets the win against Sami Zayn type thing. But yeah, it's a simple one here. I honestly just want, I kind of just want a final that's so good, and obviously that sets up that we've got Cesaro versus Drew McIntyre in the final of the number one contendership Intercontinental title tournament. So yeah, I mean, next week, week 3, Drew McIntyre, Cesaro, an amazing match. It's got potential to be the best match of the save. Let's hope. But yes, obviously after that, we obviously end the show with obviously Cesaro coming to the ring, staring off at his opponent for next week, and kind of just doing a good old-fashioned stare off. And obviously we can do the symbolism that they're pointing, and they're pointing at the WrestleMania sign. But a nice little thing I like at the end is that we haven't heard from Nakamura, but I like the idea Nakamura was at the top of the app, watching on, with possible opponents at WrestleMania. And I like the symbolism. You can see the camera angle symbolism. Cesaro on one side, Drew on the other, staring down. You got the camera behind Nick and Nakamura, or like having, an offshoot, or maybe do a situation at the outside looking up and you see them facing off, and you got Nakamura in the distance. But yes, that's kind of how I want to end the show. Thought that would get a 56, very good there. But I just want that symbolism, because it's like Nakamura's been off shelf, he hasn't really been anything, but I like the idea he's been watching. He's been watching every match in the tournament, and he's watching it with scouting every person in it as a possible opponent. Makes more sense, and obviously, who's he going to face? Is it going to be Drew? Is it going to be Cesaro? We'll find out next week, but it sets up a very interesting match. Well, interesting Smackdown next. In the next Smackdown we're going to do in 2 weeks. But yeah, so the question is, don't know more to say. That's the end of the show, obviously. Kind of went on a tangent there. But yeah, so the question, what we're going to get? We've got a lot of 25s, 30s in the early on. But I think the main event's quite decent with a 50. So if I can get a 54 or at least a high 50, I would be happy. But let's hope the main event pulled off, and let's hope it does well. Let's find out. So this edition of SmackDown gets 58. Wow, that's done way better than I expected. I mean, it's pretty solid here when you think about it. You got, obviously, a lot of the main event got a 54. That's very good. You got, obviously, Sasha Banks got a 42. That's very good. Obviously, got the 31s to 25s, but you expect it from, obviously, the Santos Escobar and his crew, because obviously they've just started in a lower opinion numbers. So hopefully we can build them up and they can get kind of numbers that, like the 30s and 40s very soon. But yeah, so obviously the main event did well. Most of the matches were pretty solid, done what they did, 40s, 45s, 50s. So it done good, but 58, yeah. I'm very happy with that. I was expecting to be a bit lower, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the highest score we've got. I mean, we're still around the 58s to 60s. My obviously aim in the next couple of months is to hopefully get into the the high 60s to maybe 70s. But maybe that might happen sooner when we build up some of the stars and building up. It's only been 2 or 3 months in his save. So I've still got a lot of work to do, and I'm still trying to figure out the game. So, but yeah, 58, very good. Obviously, that's roll on to Raw next week, and let's see if they can try and beat it. But yeah, this one, 58, very good here. So yeah, let's bring on SmackDown. Obviously, next week we've got a final of the between Cesaro and Drew McIntyre. Should be good. But yeah, 58, happy with that. So 58, very good there. Actually, I was expecting it to be lower than that, just because some of there's one or two, like the Santos Escobar debut, and obviously the lower card women's feuds, kind of lower score than I expected. But yeah, like Sasha Banks match did really well. The main event did really well, and yeah, just very solid show. Nothing crazy. I'm hoping at some point it's still something's missing from it with some of these shows where they get 58, 60s, I think it's like 65 once. The magic 70 when I can get to the shows where it's 70 and above most weeks. Hopefully that'll be way in the future in advance, but that's the hope. But yeah, got high hopes for the show. But yeah, it was a very good show there. Let me know what you think of the show in the comments below. And obviously you want to make sure you don't miss any more videos or episodes from this series. Please like and subscribe. But yeah, I don't know what more to say here. It was very good. I enjoyed doing it. Yeah, sorry about being like a week late, but again, last week was very busy. So hopefully we can get back on track with schedule on Wednesday. This will be this will be posting on Monday, so this will be posting on Monday at 4:30. So, and hopefully we might have 2 videos in a row. Depends how I do, but there will be at least 1 video this week, and hopefully next week, the week after, then we can start getting back on track with scheduling. Yes, this week's been quite crazy. Next week's quite crazy too. So I've got to find a way to fit them in. But yeah, so please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any more. Hope you enjoy. I'll be back with the next edition. Will be our Raw. With obviously we're gonna have a US title match with Dame Priest defending his title against a person I do not want to announce until we actually get it. So, but yeah, a lot of big stuff there. So yeah, cool stuff. Hope you don't miss it. I've been Stuart Vine. We'll be back next week. Hope you enjoy the weather, and see you guys in my next video. So until then, have an awesome rest of the week. So bye everyone. Bye.